Hi, it's Karen from simplysaidwithkaren.com, and today I have for you a card that I created using some of the new products from the August to December mini catalog. This is the card that I'm going to be demonstrating. It's the Peaceful Deer, and the Peaceful Deer comes with a few deer, and the trees and the deer, there's sentiments, bunnies, antlers, babies. And so this is a real versatile stamp set, and it's a fun stamp set. The other thing it comes with as a bundle, you can purchase the Deer Builder Punch, and it punches out this deer and this deer. And it also has the punches for the antlers and the eyes. So you would have fun using that. Now the rest of the materials that I used are the paper lattice, which you will find in the Grow Where You Planted in it there. And I'm going to use gold embossing powder, cinnamon cider duo blending stamping blends, and the color lifter, as well as the shimmer gold ribbon and the gilded leafing embellishment that we're going to put onto the lattice. And finally have the genial gems, which we're going to use to add further embellishments. And this cardstock is very vanilla, and it measures 2 3/4 by 4. This is the designer series paper, which you can find in the Sale-a-Bration catalog, and it's called the Peaceful Prince, and it is a free reward when you purchase $60 worth of product. Finally, this is Crumb Cake, and it is 5.5 by 8.5, sorry, and scored at 4 1/4. And then use your bone folder to get that really crisp fold. This piece is thick, very vanilla, and it is going to be used for the inside, and it is 4 by 5.5. So let's get started. The first thing I want to do is I want to attach the lattice, and this gets attached to this piece of designer series paper. So it's sort of a brownish color, which is fine. It's woodsy looking. And I'm going to attach it first to the designer series paper. And I'm going to use multi-purpose liquid glue and my silicone mat. There's no back or front to this, so we'll just go. So just put it on, dabs here, there. So try and center it as best we can. Okay, so now we're ready to prepare for the gold leafing. So I'm just going to put little bits on the lattice, because when this glue dries, it dries clear, so you're not going to be able to see it, besides which most of the gold leafing will stick to it. So just keep putting the glue on, and you don't have to fill in every little space because you just don't. Now I don't know how many of you have used this gold leafing, foil leafing, but it flies everywhere. So I suggest that you don't have a fan above your work table or a fan near your desk, or have the heat gun going, because otherwise it's going to go everywhere and it's not pleasant to clean up. Now you can also use heat and stick powder, which you would use Versamark to stamp, and then trying to clean up my workspace the best I can, so you can tell that it sticks. I don't want it on the rest of the card if I can help it, so I will wash my hands. Just put that out of the way. So when that dries, it'll be just fine, because this panel will go in here, so you're not going to see a great deal of the lattice. So I'm going to stamp now our images. Have you bought any of the new stamp sets, the photopolymer, this year? Because we now have images printed on the case, so you can line this up a little bit and see if you're missing any. And I should get out this last one here, the deer. And then on the inside we're going to use the bunny and Merry Christmas. The bunny and the sentiment, wishing you a wonderful year. There. Let's put that back in the case because I lose everything on my desk. Now we're going to do some stamping, and I'm going to use the garden green ink. Just put this away. The garden green ink to stamp the trees, and we're going to start by stamping off the paper full strength, and then just lift it up a little bit and stamp again. Do it again, and then stamp again. So we have that twice. Now we'll just bring the deer in. Get this out of the way because I'll be stamping the deer in green. Because I'm using the stamping blends, I'm going to stamp in Memento ink because it works great with alcohol blends. And here's our little deer. And I'm going to put him about here. Now I'm going to take the antlers, and I'm going to use Early Espresso and the smallest block I can find, because I tend to load up my stamp with ink too thick, and it gets on the edge of the block, and then I have a mess. Because this is a clear stamp, it's two-step stamping, and I can see where I want to stamp. So it's right there. Now we have a little bit of this little stamp is just to put at the bottom of the deer to look like he's walked over, and I'm going to use the early espresso. I'm going to stamp off and then put it down here by his feet. I probably got this too low. I might have to reposition my ribbon. So okay, so now we can color the deer. I'm using, like I said, the cinnamon cider, say that 5 times fast, and I'm starting off with the light. Stamp the greeting, which is the wishing you a wonderful years and friendship, dear. And I need my little block. Now I'm going to stamp this in Versamark because I'm going to emboss it in gold. So I'm going to use my embossing buddy that I had from a few years back, and unfortunately Stampin' Up discontinued it, but I still like to use it. So I want to make sure I get this upside right. And it'll go right here. Then I'll take my heat tool and just heat it up so that it melts. Now, this is Stampin' Up's heat tool. It has 2 speeds on it. The first one is a gentle, and it's mainly used for drying ink. And then if you want to melt the embossing powder, you use so that's all melted. Now I'd like to take a blending brush, and I'm going to use the Crumb Cake ink. Have you tried the new blending brushes? Love them. Because I got a smudge down here. Night skies and day skies and sunsets, etc., etc. with the blending brushes. So now I'm going to put this on here. Everything is dry. Just take off the rest of it. And I'm going to use my stamp and seal. And try to get it in the middle. Now if you use a grid paper, You can always line up your panels with the grid panels, and you should be able to get them pretty straight and in the center. Okay, so now it's time to put the ribbon on, and I'm just going to put it across. Where am I going to put this? I guess I'm going to have to hide his feet a bit. That's okay. And we'll snip it off. And we'll attach it to our Crumb Cake card base. So it's going to go just about like this. Now I'll put all the measurements and the different products that I use to make this card. They'll be at the bottom, just down below in the description. And while you're looking, if you wouldn't mind, just hit the subscribe button, and then when I have new videos going out, you'll get notification. And I'd love for you to stamp with me. Now the other thing that you can do is, I will also put the link to my email sign up. You will get a free gift, a free tutorial, and some other great things in the following emails. And you will get a monthly email with tons of projects and some answers to some questions that my customers ask me, as well as ways that you can use your tools differently than what they were originally used to be used for. It's always great when you can find other ways to use your investments. Now the last thing we need to do is, actually it's not the last thing, but it's getting there. I'm going to take my inside panel, and I have a strip of green here. Put some adhesive on it. I guess I should have used my silicone mat. And then I'm going to stamp on the inside the bunny. Where are you, Mr. Bunny? There he is. And we'll do the Merry Christmas in Garden Green. So you have lots of room to write your greeting or whatever it is you'd like to put inside your card. And the last step will be to put it inside our card. So I just have to make sure that it's the right side. Have you ever done it upside down? Put your panel on that there upside down because you didn't look? Well, I have. It's not fun, because then you kind of have to redo the card. So I'm just going to use Stampin' Seal for this. And again, I'm lining it up here. There. put it down. And there we are. The inside is all done. The outside is all done. And this is a fairly quick and easy card. If you get this stamp set, I'm sure you'll find lots of uses for it. The other thing I wanted to tell you about was the paper. It comes with a printed deer on, which you can use to stamp out the deer. And it has the black and red plaid. There's something that stripes, and it looks like leaves, and then the red stripes with the crumb cake, a plaid with white snowflakes, and then on the other side it is just a plaid with black. And here's your trees and the polka dots, and then last but not least is the one that I used on my card, the snowflakes. And then this is just a generic pattern and small deer and a plaid on the diagonal. So I'm sure you would have lots of fun with that. Again, this is a celebration item, and you can receive that with $60 in product purchase. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please join me again, and we'll have another card to